What is going on? Man, it's been a hot second since I've been here and have done a podcast, because I've been in Disney World. Why is that so far? So me and the wife took a trip to Disney, and which is pretty much our favorite place. So we like to try and go every year. It looks like right now we're trying to go like every 2 years. So we actually already have our second trip planned for 2021, and I'm already ready for it. We came back. When we left Delaware, it wasn't too bad, the weather-wise, and so we got into Florida, and it was the mid-80s, stuff like that. It was beautiful. It was just my kind of weather. And then we stayed there for 2 weeks. It's beautiful. It's mid-80s, low 90s. Some people that's hot, but I love it. And, we come back to Delaware 2 weeks later. And we get into the Philly airport, and it's 39 degrees. Freezing. Like, come on, man. Right when we were stepping off the plane, you could feel the cold, and I was like, no. We were prepared for it though. Like, I had a hoodie on, and I put my sweatpants on in the airport, and and then after that, we just went home and kind of started reminiscing, and you kind of miss it. No matter what kind of vacation you go on and you get back, it's always kind of depressing. Because now you're back to real life and all those kind of things, and you got to deal with real world shit. And it sucks. But for me, it's also kind of exciting. It's exciting to have like a fresh start. And usually on a vacation, if I stay a long time, like, I'm ready to go. But this time, I think I needed the full 2 weeks. Because we haven't been for 2 years. We've been on vacation. But I haven't been to Disney World in 2 years. And having been every year since 2015, it was kind of weird. Like, we skipped out on 2018, and I think that was the year we went to the Outer Banks with my family. So I still got a vacation. It just, which even after that vacation, I came back like revamped and just ready to go, and just ready to really get my nose to the grindstone and just really get going with things that I was trying to do. But this time, I had never felt like I needed a vacation more after these couple years. It's just been not so stressful, but I do a lot. I do a lot of things, and sometimes I get a little like wound up in the head, and I never really like decompress. I'm always thinking of how I can be better and what I need to do to change things up, to maybe I need to post more content, maybe I need to do this. The wheels are always turning. So that's why I needed that time to really not think about any of that. Now some people think Disney World, there's tons of people, which is weird for me. I don't even understand it myself, because I hate being in crowds. I hate being in a crowded place with people, but for Disney World, it just doesn't bother me as much. I thought it would when I first started going, and this year it doesn't bother me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that like magic, they say there's magic there, and there's something about it, man, that just makes you happy. And it's not just for kids. It's sometimes you'll see people with kids that are miserable, which is like also like be smart about it. Don't take your kid when they're a baby and they're not gonna even remember. They're gonna have no recollection of that trip. Last time before I started going in 2015, the last time I went before that was when I was 12, and I barely remember that. So think how much a baby's actually gonna remember. But so you see a lot of miserable parents and stuff because, kids are crying and whining and stuff like that. And they look at me and my wife and they just kind of get pissed off because, we're walking around, we're taking pictures with the characters and there's like, well, why are they doing that? Blah, blah, blah. They don't have kids. Huh? You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, man. Like the whole place was built, even if you listen to Walt Disney, the whole place was built for both kids and adults. He built it more so for adults so they can act as kids, so they can remember what it was like to be a kid and just take themselves back to that place. And that's really what it does. And that's probably why I love it so much, because it takes my mind out of these these thoughts and trying to be an adult and doing adult things like paying bills and all that kind of stuff, where you still got to do that when you're on the trip. You got to remember, like, you have a house at home, like, you got to pay for all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't take as much energy or as much, it just doesn't take as much out of you as it does, like, when you're home and you're in it. So, it could be any vacation that really does that. But there's something about Disney World, man, that just takes a big part of that away. And you really think, like, man, like, I feel like a kid. I feel like, even waiting in line didn't bother me. We waited in lines that were like 85, 90 minutes. And for some reason, it flew by. So we didn't have a care in the world, man. And I loved it. So I'm back. I'm rejuvenated. We got guests lined up for the podcast. This week I had to do one myself because I didn't want to hop right back into it. I wanted to give myself time to work back into it and all that kind of stuff. And, and I feel good. I feel replenished. I feel just ready to, get back to doing what I need to do to get where I want to be, So what I told myself when I got back, I was like, look, let's do things different. Let's do stuff that we didn't do before we went on vacation. Because I get that saying crammed into my head all the time when I listen to different motivational speakers or just people speaking in general. Talk about you got to do things that you haven't done before to be successful. Maybe that you're uncomfortable doing. Maybe that you're just not ready to do. Do it. And it really does. It puts you out of the box. It puts you out of your comfort zone. And I love it. I started actually lifting at the gym rather than lifting at home. So lifting at the gym, it's just little things. I'm not making huge changes like crazy. It's just the little things. And those are the little things in your life that you change can make a huge difference though. So I started going to the gym rather than lifting at home because I found that lifting at home, I became a little bit lazier. I'm lifting in my basement and I feel like, I need to do this ad, or I need to do this for my business, or I need to clean this, you know what I mean? And when you're at home, you get sidetracked with different things because your mind is in a different place because you're still at home. So when I go to the gym, that's not in my head. My head is, okay, let's do this for this amount of time. And it's good because I'm not lifting like I used to. I don't need to stay at the gym for 2 hours training legs. You know what I mean? I hit a full body within 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and I'm good to go. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder anymore. I'm literally trying to be healthy and keep my physique to what I wanted, and just do what I can with that. So that's one of the changes that I made. Another one was walk my dog every day. That's something that having this job that I have, whereas before I was always working from home, so I could take my dog to the park, I could walk her anytime I wanted. Well, this time I only have a certain amount of time that I can do that. And all that time consumes me with like my business or lifting, or I'm always working on me. And I never get that chance to really take her out and have time with her. So I started doing that every day. And I started running. That didn't last long. Because not long after that, like I did something to my shins just couldn't. I think I gotta work my way into that. Because all I do at work is walk. So my legs. So when I run, like I feel my shins just pounding on top of each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So I did that for a couple of days, and I was just like, yeah, man. Like I was working through it and all that kind of stuff, but it just didn't get better. So I think, so I've been stretching them every day. So I'm going to try that. And then next week, I'm going to see how it feels like. I'm going to start to run again and then see how that feels. So, but that's it. I mean, that's something that I really encourage people to like try and do. Is like, when they say do things differently or that makes yourself uncomfortable, it doesn't have to be a huge difference. It could be just a slight little change, like for me lifting at home to going to the gym. You don't know how much that makes an impact in your life or your daily routine, And that was another thing, is it took me a while when I got back to get into a different routine. And so I was still trying to figure out, okay, what time can I do this? What time do I have to wake up to do all this stuff? So figuring that out was a little sucked a little bit, but it took a little bit of time. So now I think I got it figured out, and I think that I can make time to do different things and do things that I wasn't doing before. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, man. There's always a part of you when you get back from vacation that, like, you feel good to be home. Especially when I feel the way I do. I feel rejuvenated, A little bit. There's a part that sucks, though, is, like, I hurt my wrist. Trying to do a little too much on the bench press, and so it was actually a week before we left for Disney, and I was benching, and I went up a little bit too much, got a little too eager, so when it came down, it just wouldn't go back up, so I have a video of it, but I don't know if I want to show people that, and luckily I can deadlift that much, so I was able to handle it and be able to get it off me without having to like tilt or anything. I just had to kind of like crunch or sit up and then just roll it down my legs. So that was a little bit of a struggle, and I think in that process I did something to my wrist, and it's been like maybe a month now, maybe 3-4 weeks now. Yeah. Maybe like a month. And still, and that's where going to the gym helps, is because they have machines. Machines don't hurt it. And just using any kind of dumbbell or barbell, that kind of thing kind of just strains it a little bit and it hurts. Just carrying certain things a certain way hurts. And it's a pain. But I still try and lift. I still try and go and do things, and because using machines, I have no problem using machines. Even pressing doesn't hurt me when I use a machine, so I can do that. But oh great, my grandmother's calling me. All right, let's see what she's got to say. Hello.
Benjamin,
Yes, ma'am.
I talked to Jonathan last night, but after I got off the phone, the news came on and said there was a fire in Santa Barbara.
Oh man.
Is that close to him? Because he's in Claremont.
I don't know. Didn't you say you talked to him?
Yeah, but he was out to dinner with Haley. So he must have not known.
I don't know. Well, even if there's a fire, he doesn't live that close to like any. It has to spread pretty far for it to get to him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I wouldn't worry
yeah.
about it.
Oh. Well, do you have to work Thursday?
I do, yes.
Oh, honey.
It doesn't bother me. I'm not a big Thanksgiving person, so it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, sweetheart. I love you.
All right.
Thanks for the info.
All right, love you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh man, that lady cracks me up. She my so we call her nanny, growing up a lot of people thought I had a maid, but no, she's my mom's mom, my grandmother, and she she has a lot of things wrong with her. So she usually just sits in her chair, and her and my pup just like just chill. Don't really do too much. I feel bad for him because I wish he would come out and do stuff with us, but he doesn't want to leave her alone, which I understand, But she has nothing to do really all day but to sit and watch TV and worry about the most random things, She watches the news a lot, and my brother lives in San Diego, and there's a lot of fires going on in California and stuff like that. So so she worries, and then she calls me with questions that I have no idea. If I wasn't recording this, I could probably Google it, but I don't know. But it's just funny when she calls me, and it's either about asking about my brother, or she's complaining about someone or something like that. And I've kind of run out of things to say, because a lot of times I get very passionate about certain things, and then it becomes like a motivational rant. And talking to her, sometimes I've done that so much with her, I feel like I just like get tired of it. So I kind of stopped doing that. And I don't know. Some people, I don't know, you want to help them as much as you can, but they really can't do it unless they help themselves, you know what I mean? It's not gonna. So I stopped, worrying about it, and I've told my mom to stop worrying about it. And you can only do so much for someone, but I still love her. She's still my grandmother, and I wish her the best, and I wish that she would, really do something different and be uncomfortable and help herself. But that's all you can do, is just pray about it, and just hope that something clicks. I think about a while ago, I went off on her when I was at her house, and I just told her like what she has to do, and I was like, I don't know what you're going through, but if you really want to do it, then that's what you got to do. If you want to be around your family and stuff and go see them, be able to walk upstairs and do all this other stuff, like, that's what you got to do. But, again, like I said, some people, you can try and help them as much as you want, but unless they want that help, or unless they really soak it in and really want it, because a lot of people think they want it, but then they don't show it. They don't try and do the certain things they got to do. So, I love her. I wish her the best. And I hope one day it clicks and that she knows that she don't have to live her life the way she is. But I think she's accepted it. But, I don't know. But it's crazy how California, like, what was I listening to? I think I was listening to, like, Fighter and the Kid, and Brennan was like, when I was a kid, we used to get snow days, you know, like, you get off from school from snow and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, now kids are getting fire days. Like, imagine that, like, getting off school because there's a fire. Like, that's how big the fire's got to be, or how close it's got to be to you. Like, the fires that have just been, it's crazy. I don't know if all of them are, like, started by man, but I don't know. It's crazy. But here in Delaware, we don't really deal with that. We deal with, like, kind of, like, the back end of every kind of weather, you know? Like, if some place gets, like, a hurricane or whatever, we get, like, the end of it. And a tornado, like, we get the end of it. Like, we've had tornadoes hit, but I don't think it's done, like, crazy stuff like it has, like, you see in the Midwest. You know, but, yeah, we always get, like, blizzards. We've gotten blizzards before, but, you know, I think it's been worse other places. And we get, like, the tail end of it. So, Delaware, if you're not, like, a big, like, weather or storm person, I think Delaware's a good place for you because you don't really get too much of it. I mean, it gets cold, it gets hot, I mean, all that little stuff, but we don't get huge hurricanes, we don't get huge blizzards, we don't get huge anything, really, you know. But I think for me, I think Florida's the place for me. You know, I think California would be too congested for me. But I want to go to a place where there's nice weather year-round, and I won't miss the cold because I grew up in it. I won't miss the snow. I'm not a snow person. I was when I was a kid. It's nice for kids and all, but when you got to drive in it, it's the worst. And I just get sick of it. I get sick of snow. Yeah, it's pretty and everything, but guess what? Like, I'll visit here for Christmas and stuff, so I'll see it then. But that's my goal, is to one day move to Orlando or somewhere close to Disney World, preferably. So then that way I could go every day and film stuff, and, you know, my wife can vlog or whatever she wants to do. And, you know, that's another thing. My wife is a YouTube vlogger, and she would like to, you know, she's trying to reach people more about, like, her seizures and weight loss, and talk about her surgery that she has coming up and all that kind of stuff. So, but I encouraged her to vlog in Disney, and she was very excited to do that. So we're going to have a lot of them. Disney vlogs coming out. We've already put out 2. And if you haven't seen them yet, you know, just go into, she doesn't have enough subscribers to get a URL, but if you go to Heather Hamrick, or if you go to the search in YouTube and you type in Heather Hamrick, I think there's another one, but that one just has a green circle and it's an H, but hers actually has her picture on it, but I can always put a link on here. And then you can go to it, watch the videos, like and subscribe. You know, we encourage that. I really think, I know the Disney vlogs, like, it's for fun and everything, but I think her regular ones, her everyday ones, I really think she has something to say. And if you know someone that deals with seizures or of any type, She really goes in depth about like living with them and how she deals with it, and she takes you on a journey of her life. And we've been through so much, and there's going to be a lot that you don't see on there because she just not, there's a lot that she's gone through and that I've seen. I haven't seen that kind of stuff in my whole life. And no, it hasn't been easy for me. But it's not easy for her either. And that's the way I think. And people are always like, and even she's like, how do you deal with this? Like, what? Like, it's got to be hard for you. I'm like, so? Okay, it might be a little hard for me, but guess how much harder it is for her? So, and that's my thought process. You know what I mean? Like, life's not easy for anyone. Everyone's going to have certain things, no matter how famous you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter, like, whatever you got going on, there's always going to be something that's going to be hard. That's going to be an obstacle in your life that you're really going to have to grind your teeth and fucking get through it. It's going to be a struggle. And, in the early part of our life, like, we've been through a lot of those. So I hope that there's one day where I can give her something that she doesn't have to go through that. Like, she can have a life where we can put the struggles aside for a little while. You know what I mean? So hopefully she's getting what's called a VNS, and they call it like the pacemaker for the brain. So it'll start in her chest, and it'll go all the way up her neck into her brain, into where they think the seizures are coming from. So hopefully that sends out signals, and it will catch the seizures coming and stop them. It'll boom, like blast them. And every time it sends a signal, since it's going through her throat, it might rub up against her vocal cords a little bit. So she might get a cough. She might get like a scratchy throat when she talks. But, hey, if it stops your seizures 50% or 60%, by all means, like, give me a froggy throat. You know what I mean? So, I've been really praying that works for her, and that God really touches it and allows it to do even more than what the doctors think it's going to do. So, if you could just pray for my wife, like, I really encourage that. And, also go and watch her vlogs, and, maybe she'll inspire you to go and do whatever in your life, or just something that you can watch and just know that someone else is going through it, because everyone with something always thinks they're the only one. I tell my wife that too. Like, she thinks she's the only one going through stuff. So, if you're going through something, or if you know someone else that's going through something, like, tell them to go watch her vlogs and see if it can help them at all. And just knowing that, and then she answers any type of questions. Like, you DM her or you message her on YouTube or whatever, I'll tell her, because I'm the one that filters her comments. So you just comment on her YouTube, or you DM her about something that you're going through in your life, and she'll answer right away. So she's happy to do it, and I'm happy to do it, whatever it takes, It's all about just making this world a better place. And just knowing that with anything that you're going through, you're not the only one. There's stuff that I struggle with every single day. Maybe not as bad as some people, and I've also tried to train myself how to deal with it without any kind of medication or anything like that. And but sometimes it's unbearable, and it overpowers me. And that probably happens about once a month for me, I guess. It runs in my family. I deal with the whole anxiety and depression. A lot of people have it a lot worse. But I chose to try and deal with it myself. I've been to therapy. I've been to psychiatrists and all that kind of stuff, and it's just not my thing. I just don't feel like they help me because I feel like I know more about myself than they could ever know about me. I found myself saying, well, no shit, a lot. When my wife went to a therapist, I sat in there and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Heather, I tell you the same exact things. I was like, this girl ain't doing nothing different. And then her therapist turned out to be an asshole. She actually told my wife, like, that she talks too much. Is that normal? I don't think it is. I don't think you're supposed to tell your patient that she talks too much. Because honestly, the therapist didn't talk at all. She didn't say a word. She nodded her head and stuff like that and acted like she was writing down stuff. But then at the end, she said, like, she tried to take, like, motivational speech stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, even the therapist that I had was better than her. So, I don't know. But yeah, so go watch, I encourage y'all to, like, watch her stuff and, like her vlogs or, whatever. Whatever you want to do. I think it's a good time. I think it's a pretty cool thing. I wish I could vlog, but I just feel like I'm too boring. Even doing this, I feel like I'm too boring. So, it is what it is. But, so that was my trip, and we had a great time. There was a couple days in there that weren't so great for my wife, like the heat got to her, and then so that brought on seizures and all that kind of stuff. But that's the great thing about going for 2 weeks, is that we had time to make it up. So we had days where we had to go back to the room early so she could just rest and all that kind of stuff, which is fine for me because then I just get on the laptop and I edit and I do stuff, and I watch my nephew's game on YouTube. They had his football championship game streamed on YouTube, so I watched that. So really, you adapt to every situation, and I'm glad that I do that. And I feel like that's what a lot of people should learn to do is, when something goes not your way, learn to adapt to it. It's going to make your day so much better all the time. So you adapt to that situation and find a way that that situation is not going to ruin your day. It's the only thing to do. But yeah, so like you heard me say to my grandmother that I'm not a Thanksgiving person. Thanksgiving will be this Thursday when this was actually coming out Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving. The reason I'm not a Thanksgiving person is, yes, I like spending time with my family. I like being with them and having a meal with them. It's good food, all that kind of stuff. I love the food, whatever. But there's a reason it's not as big as like Halloween or Christmas. Like, that's why people skip from Halloween to Christmas. And people are like, oh, did you forget about Thanksgiving? I don't think Thanksgiving's that kind of holiday, unless you're not thankful for anything all year round. I'm thankful every single day. People say that, but I legit mean it. Like, I thank God every single day for everything that I have. Even though I work for more or I try to achieve more, and there's no shame in trying to better yourself or not being satisfied. That doesn't mean you just want more and more and more. It's not about the things. But I'm so blessed to be at this place in my life and to have gotten here without really any help. I didn't get help from my mom or dad or whatever. They didn't give me money to go and have a house or whatever. Nah, me and my wife did this ourselves. We got it ourselves. Everything that we've done ourselves. And it's been a struggle. And it's felt like we've gone through hell. And we still go through stuff to this day, but we try and work through it. We use each other's, what each other are good at, and we talk about things and all that kind of stuff, and we work together on it, and that's what gets us through it. You know, most of the time I'm pushing my wife and I'm trying to keep her spirits up because that's all I do is stay positive. There's no point in being negative. It's a waste of time. You know, looking at the negative side of things is always a waste of time, you know. So I always look to how we can make things better, which is why we're taking Disney trips every 2 years now. Because we're going to use that year in the middle to make our finances better and to, you know, reflect on ourselves. Because if we're too busy paying for a trip, you know, that means we can't really focus on anything else. You know, we got stuff we got to do. We got debt we got to pay. We got all these kind of things, you know. So we're going to take that year to get rid of that stuff. So then when we go on vacation, we don't got to worry about it. It's all gone. So that's why we go every 2 years. And, but yeah, so Thanksgiving, it's great. I think I'll appreciate it more when I don't have to work on that day. But it is what it is. It doesn't bother me, you know. Getting paid extra money to work on a holiday, not that big a deal. Christmas, what we do is we do it earlier. So then that way, because I don't got to go to work till 2. So we do it earlier. I get to spend time with my family. I get to open presents. I get to do all that stuff. And, you know, I don't really miss anything. So, it doesn't really bother me. But, yeah. I mean, I like the idea of Thanksgiving. I like what it's based around, of giving thanks. But for me, I give thanks to God every single day. Every single day. I'm thankful for just being able to breathe, being able to talk to people on this podcast, whoever's listening. And, you know, I challenge you to, whether you believe in God or not, doesn't matter. Just be thankful. Just be thankful for what you already have. You know, I remember doing, like, my first podcast I started doing, I think it was like the second one or whatever. I talked about appreciation over expectation. So I heard this from Tony Robbins, and I was like, ooh, I love that. Because that's what people do. And I caught myself doing it, is that I was expecting things over and over and over. Like, I would do something and then expect something to happen from it, right? But that's the wrong way to go. You know, you do things and put it out there, and you keep doing it. You keep doing it. Appreciate that you have the ability to keep doing it. You know, you shouldn't expect anything from it. Appreciate what you have. Don't expect anything in return. Appreciate that you have the people in your life. Be thankful that you have the people in your life that you do, because they're there for a reason. Whether they're people you hate or they're good people, you know, because the people you hate are there for a reason, to make you a better person. Believe it or not. You know, in my experience in my life, and I've seen it a couple times, there's been people that I very much disliked. And I'm like, okay, why do I dislike this person? Because of certain things that they do. Okay, there's probably people that dislike me because of certain things that I do, or something that I believe, or something that I talk about all the time, or I don't know. But I was like, why do I really need to waste my energy on disliking this person? So it's a teaching moment. You know, so even people that you hate or dislike are there for a reason, and it's there to teach you a certain lesson. And then be thankful and appreciate the people around you that you love. The people that will do anything for you, the people that stick their neck out for you, the people that help you out with, that don't need anything in return. You know, that's the biggest thing for me, is that especially with family, like, don't expect anything in return. Come on. You know what I mean? Just be nice out of the bottom of your heart. If you expect something in return, don't do it. Don't go and help someone and then not talk about, like, oh, hey, can you do this for me? I'll pay you this much. You know what I mean? Don't just say, oh, can you do this for me? And they do it. Or you do it and then they expect something in return. That's BS, man. That's so dumb to me. I don't know. But yeah, so I love the food and everything, so don't get all mad at me or whatever if you care that much about Thanksgiving. Just as I got older, I just haven't cared as much. I mean, it might be because I work on Thanksgiving, it might be just because I'm thankful every day, but I don't know. It's just another day to me. It's another day, to eat food and, for a lot of people to spend time with family. I'm lucky enough to have most of my family here. And my brother comes in on Christmas, so he'll be coming in December 16th, I believe. And then we'll definitely be doing a podcast with that fucker. Yo, my brother is crazy. Like, you'll see, if you don't know him, you'll see it and hear about it, and you probably won't even think we're brothers. People look at me, and then people look at him, they're like, you guys are like two different people. And we are, but we had the same connection. It's weird, like, I don't know, like growing up with each other, like sharing a room for our whole life. Even as high schoolers, we shared a room. So we've been through so much. And, we can, even though he's been gone for a couple years, I could tell when he's mad. He could tell when I'm mad. Like, all these kind of little things, like intangible stuff. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, you wouldn't even think that we would be friends. If we weren't brothers, you wouldn't think that we would be friends because of how different we look. But when we get together, man, it's a good time. So we'll definitely have him on, and so guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up, and I hope that everyone has a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you find what you're thankful for. Even if it's something little, just appreciate what you already have. Let that soak in a little bit. Like, look around where you're sitting and just really think, like, hey, there's people that have less than this. When you think you don't have a lot because you don't have the new laptop, you don't have the new Apple Watch, you don't got the new iPhone. Who cares? Those are just little things, man. Those things can be taken away like that. So don't worry about that stuff. Be thankful that you have a healthy family. Be thankful that, like, you're not spending your Thanksgiving in the hospital. Be thankful because there's people that are. And they're probably more thankful about stuff than you are. So, appreciate the little things. Be thankful. Enjoy your food. Let me know what your favorite Thanksgiving food is, because mine's cranberry sauce. I'll eat that shit all day. So, can't beat me on cranberry sauce, man. Like, ask my family. Ask my wife's family. I will devour that cranberry sauce. So, enjoy. Peace. Strong Tower Podcast. Actually, I'm not done yet. Hold on. Remind y'all to I'm not gonna do a whole ad, but go to stnutrition.com for any of your supplement needs. So we still have a couple pumpkin spice left. And once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not getting them no more. So we got the new holiday flavor coming, and it's a surprise. So you'll see. I'll put it out on Instagram and Facebook for the new vegan plant-based protein flavor. It's a holiday flavor. So, check it out. We still got a lot of things in stock, so I'm trying to clear these shelves so I can get some new stuff. So go to stnutrition.com and get your stuff today. And I'll see you on the next podcast. Strong Tower Podcast. I'm Ben Hamrick. I'm out, man. Peace.